Round 1. Fight.
Heroes never die.
I'm Commander Shepard, and this is my favorite store on the Citadel.
I used to be an adventurer like you. Then I took an arrow in the knee.
Power, sex, power. They both come down to one thing.
Hungry gamers.
Hello, and welcome, boys and girls, to the 156th episode of the Hungry Gamers podcast. We are powered by 8bit.net and Audio Technica, and I'm your extremely humble host, Brendan White. You can find me just about everywhere at Brendan8bits. And today's episode sees us yet again tackling loot boxes and microtransactions, thanks to EA. We also be talking about Tifa's Tartars, Gears 5, as well as recapping our E3 2019 predictions. But before we start the episode, I need to introduce my esteemed co-host, equal parts sass and caffeine. You can find her at Miss Allie Hart. Miss Allie Hart, welcome to episode 156. How you doing today?
I'm doing good. I am loving the alliteration of Tifa's Tartars. That's wow, it's so good.
Yeah, it's probably the best thing I'll do all weekend. So I'm going to sort of rest my hat on that one, and maybe that's the episode title right there. You know, within the first 30 seconds, we've got the episode title.
It's a good sound check. How some people do vocal training and stuff like that. It's Tifa's Tartars, Tifa's Tartars, Tifa's Tartars. I think that works.
I'm gonna weave that in now to my sound checks every week.
In between your ha.
Hey, that's inside baseball. We're looking behind the curtain with that kind of stuff. That's our trade secrets.
Trade secrets.
So how you doing? It's been a hot minute. We missed you last week when we had the lovely Ian Prochelle sharing for us while you were off doing things. But welcome back.
Yeah, it replaced me with another gorgeous human being, but I was completely incapacitated by the California beverages. The beer fest that was going on, so even if I could make it on time, you wouldn't understand me.
You probably would have been more coherent than Salim on his best day, so yeah. But speaking of Salim, we hope you're doing well, brother. He's tied up with a few things today, but he will be back next week, bigger, better, badder, and stronger than ever. So we're just duo casting today, but it's going to be a ripper of an episode. Going to be talking some of that Tifa's Tartars as mentioned. But I've got a quick question for you, Miss Hart, before we start going through the usual. And this comes via a discussion that I've seen sort of taking place on Games Radar, and then I've sort of been talking to a few people on the social medias about it, and I've got this question. If you could only play one game from now until you died, what would it be?
Oh my god.
So one game for the rest of your life.
Oh, that's really difficult. You've got to really take a lot of things into consideration with that. You couldn't play something that was that you'd finish quickly. The most common sense thing would be a game that is difficult. But, I mean, your whole lifetime, you're going to finish it maybe halfway through there, maybe less. If you're just playing that.
I think if we put a couple of sort of rules, we'll open up a little bit. So it can be an online game. Mm-hmm. So you can play with friends, family, enemies, and everyone else. So my thought process with this is something like a Grand Theft Auto.
Mm-hmm.
So then you could play GTA Online. So you do have sort of, I guess, new, fresh things to tackle over the next 50, 60 years, however long we sort of see this out to. So something like a GTA, because then I thought maybe sort of as another caveat to that is you could have then GTA role playing, which could add on to it as well. So you could have a whole heap of different experiences there. But if we're going to go offline, I'm going to take The Witcher 3 and all the subsequent DLC. But if I can go online and get sort of the offshoots with GTA Online and with GTA role-playing, I'll take GTA.
Okay. Well, the GTA is actually a really good choice because you can, no matter how shitty your real life is, you can just go into that GTA world and just live a completely different one.
Exactly. Or an even shittier one.
Or a shittier one. It could be worse. See, I've never really played World of Warcraft, but I feel like that's probably the best answer only because I feel like that game just seems to have some kind of longevity in it. It just never dies in people's lives. Oh, yeah. Sam. So that to me sounds like the right answer, but as a person that hasn't played it, I'm a bit conflicted on choosing it. I might actually hate it. So I'm gonna.
Do you like MMOs?
I don't think I think the closest. No, I don't know because I really haven't. Wow. I don't think I've really played one. Internet proved me wrong. I mean,
what about RPGs? You like an RPG fan then?
Yeah. I don't really follow story though. I think we've now established that over a few episodes. I'm not big in following a story. I'd rather just do my own thing.
Well, I guess an MMO would work for that in that regard then, because you do have obviously your mainline overarching story, but then you've got so many little offshoots you can do and proficiencies you can sort of level up. You can go and do, your blacksmithing and your mining and your cooking and your tailoring and your sort of your magic sort of subsect. So there's so much things you could do. I think WoW's a good one. Yeah,
so I'm going to choose WoW because I assume also once you perfect a class, you can then go and try another class and then try another class. Okay, so I'm going to say WoW without ever playing it. Fingers crossed that God knows how many players that they currently have, they're onto something.
Yeah, I think there's still about 10 million or so concurrents on there. Oof. Maybe there might be a spike now with sort of vanilla WoW or classic WoW as they're calling it coming back. So maybe it's increased again, but yeah, it's still high number of players.
I should definitely do something about me playing some WoW. I should put that on the list of things that I need to conquer. That sounds like a Twitch stream though.
You know what I want to play or get back into playing is I want to get back into Elder Scrolls Online.
I never touched it because I remember how much shit they got when that first released, and it never made me want to play it, which is weird because I love that stuff.
I played it pretty hard out on the Xbox. Like I got to like the veteran, like when you hit your level cap, you can then sort of start from scratch and become like veteran rank 1, go through all the way to I can't remember if it's 60 or not, whatever it might be. And then hit that 60 again, you can reset and go veteran rank 2, 3, so on and so forth. I got to veteran rank 6, I think. I played like several hundred hours worth of Elder Scrolls Online on the console, but then people I was playing with just fell away. So I'm thinking of starting again on the PC, especially now they've got new sort of DLC out, which looks pretty good. Elsewhere it's called, and there's dragons and shit in there now. So you
maybe
can fight
that's
dragons.
What I should do then. Because graphically, WoW doesn't look great. Sorry, everyone. Like, I like being fully immersed in there with that, like, first-person kind of, angle. So, and, I mean, Skyrim was just awesome. So, unless that can be my offline one. Because I was going to say my offline one had to be something with, like, multiple endings and puzzles. Because you're getting old. You need to keep using your brain.
Got to keep things fresh.
Exactly. And you can't do anything too complex with your controllers because soon we're all going to get like, first carpal tunnel and then freaking probably arthritis or something. So, yeah. So, okay. WoW for online and Skyrim for offline?
That's fair. Both big, massive sort of open world RPGs. I see what you're doing there.
I know everyone's
both
like,
fantasy.
She didn't choose Destiny. I thought about it, guys. I thought about it, but I just don't think that has the longevity for a lifetime. But who knows?
I say one thing though, they can raise a hell of a lot of money.
Hell yeah, they can. Super proud of the guys.
400,000 or something, or $500,000 now?
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, they've been doing that over the weekend.
St. Jude's?
Yep, St. Jude's. Yeah, it's actually been a really good weekend, especially after like all the other news that's been happening that I've been raving about with Bungie kind of taking the reins and setting themselves up again for Destiny and just seeing the community like come together and just pull that money up. It's so good. Very positive.
Yeah, I like to see that. It's always good to see a beacon of positivity sort of break through amongst all this other constant sort of dark, bleak shit that gets thrown around the game space. So shout out to Bungie and the community surrounding Destiny and Destiny 2 for sort of banding together and raising some good cash for a great cause. So kudos. All right. So I will expand on this question and now ask, what have you been up to the past week, or maybe 2, because we haven't had a chat on the pod for a fortnight now. So tell me all the things.
Well, you didn't even get my E3 reaction, so we could go through that. It's not good, everyone. Spoilers. However, I did get to play Cadence of Hyrule, which is that Zelda spin-off of the guys that did Crypt of the Necrodancer, and it's been interesting. I'm really happy to see the positive like the positivity that's been coming out of people that have been playing it. Some people have obviously been a bit deterred by thinking it was going to be full on Zelda, but then there's the rhythm element, or I don't know. I think it threw off a few people. It threw me off the other way because I played Crypt of the Necrodancer a lot, and then playing this one changed it. Because Crypt of the Necrodancer had a different element where you were just dungeon crawling to a beat, and then it was just like clear the dungeon, beat the bad guy, open the key, next level. While maintaining the rhythm to like, you know, do multipliers and then get gear and stuff. This is a bit more open. So, and there is a story and there is like things that you're meant to be unlocking while opening each like square foot of a map. So I got thrown off on how I should be playing it properly, but it is still fun. The music's still awesome. The design is really cute, very adorable. I'm just finding myself getting a little frustrated with it. That's all.
Can I ask? Is it rhythm throughout the entirety of the game?
No.
So when you're moving around, it's only like in combat is when the rhythm kicks in. So you can move around as normal. Yeah. And then once you go into sort of an instance and you've got that battle going on, that's when the rhythm functionalities kick in.
Exactly, because with every enemy, they will respond to the rhythm in a different way. Some will only do like a single jump beat. Others will do like a faster beat or faster movement. So the beat is, pretty important to the music. But then once you've cleared a space, usually the little beat bar that you have down the bottom, which has a little triangle to let you know when you're supposed to be hitting the beat, that goes away. So then you can just hop along as much as you want to. So
it's pretty surprising. Like, obviously it got announced at E3 and then it was available like a week later or maybe even during E3. I think it got announced and it was available then, like on the 13th.
Well, it's actually... The announcement for this game actually did come out much earlier than E3.
Oh, really?
We have been aware of that. That this was actually coming, and I was
not this guy,
not that guy. But when it kind of came out on E3, and then a week later, it was like, it's available now. It's been sitting on the store for a bit too. I'm pretty certain, but. I mean, a lot of people who were fans of Crypt of the Necrodancer, we knew it was coming. And then just, I guess, your average Nintendo nerds and maybe some Zelda nerds as well. They kind of knew about it.
It does look cute, and it's 86 on Metacritic, so it's reviewing and scoring really well across the channels. But do you think it's something that I'd enjoy? Like, you know my stance on most Zelda-based games, but I don't mind a good rhythm game. Do you think this could be a good sort of dip of the toe for me to potentially find a bit more love from Zelda? Would I take more away from it, you think, from that universe?
The thing is that I don't think it brings anything extra to the Zelda universe if you're looking for more. In regards to just finding a new game with good mechanics and with the Zelda vibe that you're familiar with, then I think it's great. A lot of people are surprising me. Like, I'm seeing on like Twitter and Instagram, people that I just wouldn't have thought would enjoy the game. They're loving it, and it's scoring really high too. So people are surprising me. So I think you might actually enjoy it.
Okay, I might have to give it a look. How much was it?
I'm now looking at an American store, so I can't actually be out. I think it's sitting like in the American store, like around the 30, 40 mark.
Okay.
So you might be looking
probably
a bit more.
50, 60 Australian,
possibly.
maybe.
But
Curse
double
these
check.
currency conversions.
Curse the Nintendo store as well.
That's true. Or just Nintendo in general. They do not lower prices on anything.
That's why I always tell people now, if you're looking at a game on the Nintendo store, double check either your phone or check Steam, because chances are the game might have already been released there first, and it might be really, really cheap there first. So always double check. Speaking of Steam, I also got to play My Friend Pedro, which is brought to you by Devolver Digital. I know I was funny about that. This game we got to test out on the floor of PAX Oz.
Last year.
Yeah, and this actual particular game has been in my Steam wish list for a while now. It feels like quite some time, because, I mean, it's a banana just staring at you. It didn't really give you too much based on, like, just a picture of a banana and guns, but you're like, hell yeah. So we did get to test it out at PAX Oz last year. high action platform shooter kind of style. Very fun. Very it's not very serious, but the gameplay is very serious though. So playing it,
a lot of death,
a lot of death, and a lot of essentially you're going through a stage platformish using gun shooting mechanics, and you also have like slow motion kind of added in there as well. So your goal is to get through the stage, obviously kill everyone, but you want to maintain your XP and your score doubling, tripling, and the way that you do that is obviously doing awesome kills and shooting as many people as you can, but it's also getting through the stage fast. Like time is very important as well. So you get it for skill, you get it for time, and you get it for just shooting everyone essentially, because you could go past people, but why would you do that?
Yeah, it very much rewards you for being sort of stylistic in combat and doing your sort of capoeira flips in the air as the slow-mo sort of Max Payne kicks in.
The helicopter spin one where you're just Michael Jackson like spinning on your 2 feet while doing like helicopter with the guns is just, it's brilliant. And there's also things that you can use, like you use like boxes, crates, tables for protection, but you can also like flick a pan into the air and shoot the pan and then have that ricochet the bullet and kill someone. And the game has great music. The music reflects kind of how well you're doing as well. As soon as you finish a level, it gives you a grading as well. And then it lets you know, it's like, do you want to move on or do you want to test the stage again? Like, do you want to try again? And as I mentioned earlier, I did the first stage and straight away I'm like, nah, I could totally do that stage better. So I've already replayed the first stage a few times already. So, great game. I've been pushing this one onto a lot of people this week, just saying, definitely get it. It's a lot of fun. Very rewarding, and it's a good throwaway game. I bought it on PC. I got it on PC from Devolver. I think this one might be best suited for Switch. Like
that's what I was going to ask. Yeah,
if you were sitting between, should I get it on Switch or should I get it on PC? Don't get me wrong. I've been playing it on PC with a controller because I just feel like a controller suits it. But if I had a choice whether I should play it on Switch or PC, I probably should have picked the Switch. I could just see that in your hands with the controls, it would suit it better.
Yeah, so I think it'd translate really nicely. Like I haven't picked up a copy yet, and that was my question as well, was would I just go the PC even though I was going to play on controller as I always do? But I think having this just on the go would lend itself perfectly to the Switch.
100%. If anyone's thinking about either which one they should do, I definitely would recommend the Switch more. It does feel like a game that you can just pick up and just, do a few levels if you're in between, like, airports times, just crashing on the couch or something. You just want to quickly play a few levels. It's fun game.
Getting some good reviews. The one thing I didn't know when I was doing a little bit of digging on it was actually like an Adobe Flash game.
Yeah.
Released by Adult Swim. Like the Adult Swim games sort of subsect of that company in 2014.
Yeah, I only found that out recently on Reddit somewhere when I was looking up people's response to the game. So yeah, that was something I learned later too.
Yeah, so it's existed now for 5-ish years in previous versions, but yeah, now we've got the full-fledged on the PC and the Switch. But I loved it. I loved playing it last year. Like, and one thing you were saying offline, something we didn't really get to experience at PAX was because there was this crazy soundtrack that picked up based off what's going on. Mm-hmm. Because the show floor was so noisy, we didn't really get that full level of immersion. So I'm excited to go back and chuck some good headphones on and get lost in this sort of stylized violence.
Yeah, like it was that I didn't know that I was missing out on it, but the second I loaded it up and I got the Audio Technicas on and just like full immersed in the game, and then the music was just awesome. I'm like, why? This is something I'm always very picky about. Like I always like pick music is one of my things because I feel like sound and music's very important when it comes to immersing yourself into a game. And I'm surprised that why didn't I pick that up? I'm like, oh, because it was PAX and there was probably people yelling about, do you want a giveaway? You want to
girls.
But no, definitely recommend the game. Just get it for Switch.
Yeah, like I don't know what the price is on Switch, but on the Steam store at the moment, it's $17 or $16.99 USD. So that's a pretty good price. 15% off at time of recording, 23rd of June. But yeah, 80% on Metacritic, 9 out of 10 on Steam. So it's getting good reviews, and now we've got some actual sort of in-house reviews here. We know Ali's a big Devolver fan, but yeah, my friend Pedro looks the goods, and who doesn't want to be killing people with a banana named Pedro?
Exactly right.
As your sort of confidant.
Exactly right. I also dipped my toe into Wizards Unite, the mobile game.
How was it?
I have no fucking clue what I'm doing. I have no idea. I am a victim of once you load up the game and you are bombarded with text, bombarded with speech bubbles, this and that, and look, victim, so I obviously can't complain. But after a while, I'm like, shut up. If it's Pokemon, but Harry Potter, I'll figure it out. And I'm just sitting there, like, walking around, and I'm like, okay, so some people are getting attacked, and you got to perform a spell, and then you collect stuff to make potions, and once you succeed on certain attacks on certain creatures, and you put them in your sticker book. So I won't be playing this one for long. Because I'm familiar with Harry Potter. I'm familiar with certain characters. I'm not a big fan, but I thought I kind of knew enough that maybe it would, pique my interest. But yeah,
hook its Gryffindor claws into you, but nah.
Yeah, no, I don't see me sticking around.
Yeah, I don't think I'm going to download this at all. I've heard enough through Salim the Dream and NATO and a few other people, and they're enjoying it. And I'm like, I'm happy for you guys, but yeah, enjoy it without me. So,
but you're not on the Pokemon train either. You don't do Pokemon Go.
Nah, like I've uninstalled that. Like, I don't even know if the save would carry, because I was playing that on iPhone back in the day, and I think it's just tied to the login. It's not tied to the specific platform. So I could boot it up again one day and see how my my Pokemons are going. Yeah, I can't even remember the last time I played that. I think it was still when it was just Gen 1 was in there. None of the Gen 2 stuff was trickling in. It's that far back.
The one moment when the world was at peace with each other and we all mutually liked Pokemon Go. Yeah, that was a fun time. It ain't no WWE pocket card game, whatever it is. Oh,
yeah, WWE Supercard.
Yeah.
That game, like, on that topic, I didn't want to bring it up, but the fact they are bringing out these new card classes every other week just makes it impossible to stay at the top of this game. Like, WrestleMania 35 class came out maybe 6 weeks ago, and now there's this new Cataclysm class. It's just bonkers. It's such bullshit, and it's so hard to obtain those cards. So you're forever glass ceilinged off almost, it feels like. Like, I'm still winning a lot more than I'm losing, but it's like, man, the grind is real. And I just want to have fun while I'm pooing. I don't want to have to sort of stress trying to get some wrestling cards.
That's what we all want. We all just want a little fun when we're pooing, don't we?
Exactly.
Hashtag snap game. Oh, Lord. What else have you been playing just that?
Outside of some WWE Supercard, I've also been playing Crash Team Racing. Been dabbling in this throughout the week. I intended to have our review up of this by time of recording, but sadly, my life has made it hard to find the time to record my audio to send over to John to make the magic happen. But we'll have a Crash Team Racing Nitro fueled review coming out this week some stage, pending myself. So, but the short version of it is I'm loving it. It is such a great remaster of the sort of original PlayStation Classic. I've always lent slightly more that Crash is probably better than Mario Kart from a pure karting perspective.
What?
Yeah. I love
saw
Crash
people
Team
talking
Racing.
about this, and I'm like, the second people were like, Crash Team was better than Mario Kart. I'm like, what fucking planet are you on?
Yeah.
Then again, you know what? Sorry, I'm going to take a step back. I never played Crash Team Racing because I wasn't a PlayStation kid, but I just can't fathom a universe where, out of all karting games, like how Mario Kart was not the supreme.
I think like Mario Kart's probably supreme in most people's eyes just because it's the longevity and the constant new releases and know Mario Kart's coming out every other year, where Crash Team Racing, there was only 2 in the series, and then nothing for many years until now. And one of the things that they sort of brought in at the time was the drifting that can then translate to boost. The longer you drift, you get sort of ability to sort of stack speed boosts, which is something that happens in Mario Kart now. Mm-hmm. And I think that was pretty big for its day. So sort of seeing that in there when you are sort of trying to hit the shoulder buttons at the right time to get those bonus speeds to sort of whip around corners as you're drifting is really good. The adventure mode, which is pretty fun, which is something that's sort of been taken from Diddy Kong Racing, which is sort of like a main story mode from the game. And then obviously you've got your offline play and your online play. I haven't played online yet. I intended to last night, but it's just been sort of offline and then local sort of co-op. Rach and I were having a race around, but a ton of characters, a ton of tracks. Depending on what platform you buy it on, you can get access to additional content. Like the PlayStation has the OG character skins for Cortex, Coco, and Crash. So you can have the old sort of lower polygon count Crash and Co squirting around the track if you like. The tracks look fantastic. Like anyone that's played the Crash Bandicoot sort of remastered trilogy that came out in the past year or so, it's going to have that exact kind of look and polish to it. So there's a lot of care that's been put into this game. I'm really, really enjoying it. Like it's good fun. Activision and Beenox is the company behind sort of this remaster, and it's published through Activision. Beenox have done really, really well. A high level of care and love. But I'm digging it. It's just good fun. I love sort of these lighthearted races anyway. And that's more of this. Like Mario Kart's one of my favorite races or favorite sort of games across any platform, and Crash is right up there beside it as far as current gen quality in a kart or even just a racing game in general. So pick it up. Like I think it's $50 from JB here in Australia. So $50 AUD. So maybe 40 or 35 in the States. Who knows? Yeah. But priced really, really well. Good fun. And they're promising, like Beenox are promising 3 free, in quotes, seasons of DLC after launch. So that's going to be bringing new tracks and characters. No doubt we'll probably see people like Spyro potentially making their way to Crash Team Racing as well. So that's cool that they've got sort of a support plan between now and these other seasons coming out. But it's just good, dumb fun. And I like that it knows what it is. Like it's not trying to be something it's not. Like it's just quirky and fun and cheery and big amounts of personality in this game, and well worth a look if you're looking for something to sort of sink into in between My Friend Pedro.
Well, the thing is that, like I said, I didn't grow up with like first gen PlayStation or second gen, but I'm not familiar with the characters. I'm not really actually very familiar with Crash Bandicoot in general. So I think already there, like, it's not marketed to me. I have no characters that I would play, the courses, the items, nothing would ring a bell to me. So I'm not too sure if this would actually be for me. I was genuinely surprised at the hype of this game. Like everyone saying like how like they were looking forward to it and how they were, how they pre-ordered it or how they're getting it day one. And so much so that wasn't it the PlayStation store that maybe the PlayStation Online where they had issues?
I think so, because there was just a lot of hype. A lot of people are on it. Like you see, like as you were saying, people we know from all over the industry is just all on the socials, playing Crash, who wants to jump online, it's great, blah, 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 blah. Like I expected it to sell well and perform well, but I guess I didn't expect, like what you were saying, I didn't expect the amount of people to be jumping on the hype train and getting amongst it. Like
exactly,
it's really good to see though.
Yeah, obviously. Like I think it was just more like, I guess this is the first time I really felt like a real outsider, because to me it was just like, oh, who cares about that game? But a lot. The answer was a lot of people care about that game. So
maybe now, obviously, with the continued excitement and hype between Mario Kart and now this new hype between Crash Team Racing, maybe we'll see a remaster of Scunny Kart make its way to the consoles.
Fuck yeah. And also it was only on PC, but fuck yeah. Scunny Kart, man. The best kart game I'm going to make you play that, or I just want someone else to play it or get back at me.
Is it on Steam? If it's on Steam, I'll buy it.
Is it? I don't know. You know what? I need to look for this game. I only played it because I think it was on one of those, PC kids would understand it, like one of those crazy, like 100 games on, one disc kind of thing.
Yeah,
so,
yeah. Scunny kart.
It was pretty much Mario Kart, but
Yeah, but Scunny.
Scunny and friends. Look it up, people. Seriously.
But yeah, so I guess taking away what we've been playing this week, get on My Friend Pedro, get on Crash Team Racing. There is tons to do between. You want stylized, crazy combat with a banana. Get on some My Friend Pedro. When you're done replaying those levels, jump across to Crash Team Racing and get amongst that sort of frenetic kart anarchy and just the customization option there. You can, the amount of tweaks and decals you can do to the karts. There's character skins. It's really well supported. And Beanox and Activision, you're getting 2 thumbs up from this guy.
I'm just going to also bring up, neither of us have played it, but there was another game that everyone was hyping up this week, which was, it's called Blood something, and it was done by the guy that did Castlevania.
Oh, yeah. The game-breaking bug one.
Oh, well, I never knew anything about it. I think it was crowdfunded as well. I think it was a crowdfunded game as well, and that has also been getting a lot of hype. So it's probably another thing that we'll have to look into it. If anyone was playing it, love to hear your opinions about it. Either let us know on socials or jump in the Discord. We love talking about the games we're playing in our Discord as well. So
heck yeah. A couple other quick sort of things about what I've been up to. Watched Toy Story 4 yesterday.
Did you cry?
Good. I did cry twice. I'm not ashamed to say that. I thought it was really good. Like, I've seen a few people say it's not needed and whatever else, but this it was perfect. It was in my opinion, it was probably better than 3.
I've heard that,
and I think it wrapped up the overall story of Toy Story really well. Like
the overall Toy Story, yeah.
The writers and everyone are sort of saying this is the end of Toy Story they envision, but they do leave things slightly ajar to do offshoots and everything else. But it was really nice, really touching moments. The animation is top notch as per usual. The voice acting was great, and I guess it does hit harder for us because we grew up with this franchise from 95. I think the first one came out.
Really? I know it was a while ago. Like, I know I was younger when it came out, and I remember just being absolutely gobsmacked at the graphics. Like when Pixar, was that the first Pixar title?
Yeah,
because of the ball. Yeah.
Yep.
So I remember being gobsmacked with that, but really, 95, 94?
Mm-hmm. And the first one was on Foxtel the other night, and we were just channel surfing. We watched the original, and it still holds up. Like graphically, the animation is still on point, and obviously the story is pretty special. But this fourth one, go watch. Anyone that's a fan of Toy Story that's been on the fence, I recommend heading over to the cinemas and check it out because it's nice, it's funny, it's sweet. There's some sad moments. It's a full sort of emotional journey, and obviously if you've got kids, the kids will love it. Something for the adults as well. And something else that you may love, my canvas bag from Fallout 76 has arrived. It is here.
Is it made out of canvas?
It is a canvas-based bag, yes. So no more shitty nylon bags that have caused quite the controversy through the gaming space. But I'm pleasantly surprised that it actually rocked up. I thought this was never gonna sort of make its way to my my address, but yet here we are, middle of June. Got my Fallout 76 canvas bag, and all is well with the world.
Is it good quality? Decent quality?
It's all right.
It's quality.
It's pretty thin. It's some thin canvas. I'll tell you that much. Like,
oh no, I guess I'd have to.
If I had to carry real power armor in it, I don't think it'd support more than one piece without probably the handle snapping off the bag itself. But you know what? It's here. They delivered on what they promised finally.
Eventually. Yeah.
So, kudos to Bethesda for actually getting in and getting that done. Obviously, without doing this in the first place would have been great. But, yeah, I got my canvas bag and I got a nylon bag now. So I got 2 bags.
That's true.
Still $2.99 for a collector's edition is bonkers, and I'll probably never do that again. But lesson learned.
Have you pre-ordered Cyberpunk?
Not yet, but I've thought about it.
I just thought I'd catch you out there.
Yeah, lesson Nelly learned.
Nelly learned.
All right, quick bit of housekeeping. Obviously, patreon.com/weare8bit if you wanted to throw some support behind us monetarily. From as little as $1 per month, you're going to get early access to the 8-Bit Cast, which is obviously our bi-monthly conversational podcast from various members of the hashtag 8-Bit Collective. And if you want to throw a little bit more behind us, you can actually get exclusive perks, physical swag, and also the ability to be immortalized in the 8-Bit Family Portrait, which is coming along really nicely. And those tiers go from $1 right through to $20 with escalating perks and additional benefits with each subsequent tier that you're going up to. Be sure to throw some support behind every podcast in the hashtag 8-Bit Collective. Be sure to rate, review, subscribers on your podcast hosting platform of choice, because those reviews help keep those emotional lights on in our hearts. And lastly, if you wanted to also throw some support behind Audio Technica, which is the best audio brand in the business, head on over to audiotechnica.com.au or audiotechnica.com if you are based in the US, and get yourself the best in audio equipment. We're talking headphones, microphones, turntables, in-ear, over-ear cans, gaming headsets, you name it. They've got it all there at a shit-hot price, Japanese quality. Get amongst that. And while you're there, we're 8bit.storeenvy.com to get the best gaming merchandise and swag in the business. We're 8bit.storeenvy.com. So let's quickly now jump into our E3 prediction recap. Sadly, the dream is not here. No. We can't sort of directly kick him in the guts for a few of his missteps here, but we can make fun of him while he's not here. So,
as we do, yep.
I guess going in the order that we did sort of throw our predictions out, did you want to lead us off on your first one?
Oh, gladly. So my first prediction was Animal Crossing date announcement. They better or I'ma throw down, which was what was in my quotation marks. They gave me a date, all right. A date that they pushed back.
So you still wanted to throw down?
I don't know. I went through a bunch of emotions when that happened. Anyone that followed me on socials probably saw the downfall of that. So we now have March 2020 as opposed to the 2019. But they did announce that they did this because they wanted to take more time on the game, but they also wanted to make sure that the devs were getting the right amount of work and life mix, so they didn't want to push them. So, and on one of the Treehouse videos, they actually asked, they said, if it's okay, can we please have some more time just to make the game? I'm like, well, I feel like a bitch.
My emotions!
So, so they are pushing that one back. So I got my date. It was just not what I wanted.
Yeah, so you got your demand, but yeah, they pushed it back into 2020. So you're going to have to wait about 9 months or so.
Bit of a slap
for
and
this
tickle.
Little gem.
Yeah, so yay me for getting it right.
Yeah, gold star.
All right. Well, how about you? How'd you go?
My first one was a bit of a misfire. Microsoft to unveil 3 new exclusive IPs. I'm going to take liberties and claim Bleeding Edge as one because they own Ninja Theory now. They have not gone out and distinctly sort of squashed if this is going to hit other platforms. I'm assuming it's going to, though, from what I've been reading around. So Bleeding Edge is the first game there that maybe I'll take half a point for that. Minecraft Dungeons is a new one, which is going to be a Microsoft exclusive for now.
Talk about a reach.
I know. I'm clutching at whatever I can for this one. So Minecraft Dungeons, it is an Xbox and PC exclusive for now. So that is checkbox. It's a new standalone Minecraft sort of RPG based game. So it isn't existing in that core Minecraft experience. But outside of that, there was a lot of games that are like timed Xbox exclusives, or they're talking about new games that are getting done by studios they own that are going to be across multiple platforms. So yeah, I fell short on that one. I thought I was a walk-up start for that. I thought 3, that's easy. They've got the show floor. They're opening E3. They're going to crush this. And they didn't.
No, they didn't.
They came out and did a bunt. Instead of going for the home run, it was just a little bunt. It was just safe trying to get to first base. So
E3 was an entire bunt.
Yeah. I failed that. Speaking of failure, Celine the Dream In this snake-style draft, he has the next 2 predictions. His first one, Elder Scrolls 6 gets a title. That's a big fat ba-bow. Todd Howard did come out and talk about Elder Scrolls being in development, but that is as far as it went. It was literally like a 5-second, oh yes, we are working on Elder Scrolls 6. Moving on. That was pretty much
it. It's still a thing.
Yeah, so that one did not work. And the next one, Fable 4/Fable Reboot. That was also a big fat ba-bow. And I thought that could have weaved into my one previously, the new IP sort of thing. I certainly would have tried to steal a point from that, even though it was an existing IP, but it could be a new reimagining. But nope, 0 and 0 scores there for Dreamo. My next one, there will be at least one awkward live musical performance tied into a game trailer or announcement. And this was hard for me because I was clutching at straws again here. And I like that you sort of gave me also a little pointer to get over the line. Because the closest thing I had going was they sort of debuted the Assassin's Creed Symphony at E3, which, not really awkward. I guess the thought of it's a bit awkward. Why would you need something like this? So I sort of was trying to steal a point there. But then you came in and saved me and was just talking about Just Dance, which is obviously year after year and always unique experience to sort of see the next iteration of that get released. And as we talked about last week, it's coming to the original Wii as well. Not even the Wii U, the Wii. So, so I might take half a point from there.
Yeah, I guess that's valid. And saying the Assassin's Creed Symphony thing's awkward, I think, is a bit much. I think Symphony, like video game symphonies, is not new. Like, a lot of people go to them. There's like been Mario. There's the recent one in, I think, California here. There's been like Final Fantasy. People love them, and I've yet to be lucky enough to go to one, but I've heard fantastic things about it. So I think E3 is a good spot to say, like, maybe there's people that aren't so inclined or that, look out for that sort of stuff. Now they know live symphonies are a thing. That's a good platform to announce.
I was clutching at straws. Like, this is another one I thought was like a slam dunk. I thought for sure Bethesda were going to bring out some weird sort of musician, or maybe Square would do something sort of lacing it in between like a Final Fantasy announcement. But nope, I was left high and dry, so I'm stealing half a point with Just Dance.
Yeah, the Just Dance thing was awkward. That was total filler. That was like, oh shit, and now here's some people dancing.
Yeah.
Thank you.
We break.
Yeah, so.
All right. What you got? You got the back-to-back here on the turn.
Yeah, so Ask Creed announcement. Technically didn't get one. They did say Assassin's Creed, but they said from the creators of Assassin's Creed. And all like, crap. So they did announce Gods and Monsters. Weird game. The fact that they said like from the creators of Assassin's Creed, and then they showed this cartoon style kind of game.
Made me think of like Breath of the Wild. It had some Zelda vibes for me. Very, very big sort of shift from that Assassin's Creed world and look.
Like a jump and a leap. It's fucking way far. So technically not a point. I just thought I'd throw I didn't go to the baseball game. I was on the outside. So
you're watching the big screen.
Yeah, I was watching the big screen on the outside. Wasn't at the baseball game. My last one was dramatic air horn noises in trailers. I barely heard one.
No.
I barely heard one. I just wrote, instead of horn noises, we got overall disappointment. Because let's just say, this E3 probably wasn't the greatest.
Yeah, I'm with you.
Yeah, but luckily enough, with all the awkward encounters and awkward stage things, we did get those 3 awesome stage presences of Keanu Reeves. I'm not going to try and say her name, but she was adorable with the spooky.
Oh, from Tango Games? Yeah, she was the cutest.
Yeah, and Bam Bam the dog.
Yeah.
So I think that was probably my highlights of E3.
Yeah, fair. I think Keanu was just about everybody's highlight from E3. Like, it was a pleasant surprise, him obviously lending his likeness and himself to Cyberpunk, but then obviously seeing him roll out onto the stage and do Keanu things and do weird touching Keanu mannerisms that he's just known for. And now this whole "you're breathtaking" movement is just sweeping the internet.
I hate that. That's going to encourage, like it already did. It encouraged people to yell out during E3 now, which is just, don't get me started. Okay, what was your last prediction?
My last one, a new Zelda game is announced, and we got Breath of the Wild 2 confirmed. So my only home run prediction out of my three was done at the final day of the official press conferences. Nintendo coming out and showing Breath of the Wild 2. We talked about it last week. Very different tone from the original Breath of the Wild, a lot darker, which I'm digging. Apparently there's going to be a little bit more narrative and maybe the option to potentially play as Zelda as opposed to just Link. Oh. So we'll see what happens there. But yeah, Breath of the Wild 2 confirmed. 1 point, gold star, high fives for me on that one. Happy days. And Dream's last prediction, Phil Spencer will say that 2019 is the most exciting year for gaming. And I don't think he said that.
He didn't. He actually didn't. And the point was brought up to me that he technically would not say it because he is waiting for 2020. So he probably held back. He probably said something very close to it because he has to. He has to hype up the audience, but I don't think he specifically said the most exciting year for gaming. So
exactly. Yeah, maybe next year I think with the Scarlet coming out, that's when it'll be the most exciting year because it's the next step in gaming and this
because
new
consoles discovered SSD cards. Welcome to PC gaming, you idiots.
You leave us console plebs alone.
But, overall, I think with our E3 predictions and how E3 went, I mean, we did pretty okay.
But did it end up sort of being a tie between you and me and we got one right each?
Yeah. Yeah.
Man.
At least yours is a positive right, though. You're like, yeah, a new Zelda game's announced. And like, yeah, here you go. Here's something that looks awesome. Except for mine, which is like, yeah, we're going to announce the game. We'll give you a date. Next fucking year.
Yeah, next March.
Yeah, I'll give you a win. So, because I didn't win. No Animal Crossing fans
But
won.
you know who won? The gamers.
Oh,
they won E3.
Did they though? Did they though?
Yeah, it's probably on about 1,700 press releases. It was a similar line like that. So that was our E3 predictions. So let's shift gears into the news.
This week's news headlines.
And the first news comes via way of Wesley Yin Poole at Eurogamer, and the headline reads, Square Enix has an ethics department and it told the Final Fantasy VII Remake developers to, in quotes, restrict Tifa's chest. Square Enix has an ethics department, a new interview has revealed, and it advised the Final Fantasy VII Remake team on development. Specifically, this ethics department told the remake developers to restrict Tifa's chest, according to comments made by director Tetsuya Nomura in a new interview with Famitsu. The original Final Fantasy VII character models created for PS1 are, of course, unrealistic. 20 years later, making highly detailed modern characters for PlayStation 4 threw up many issues. And then in quotes, it was necessary to restrict her chest, Nomura says in the interview. For the developers, modernizing Tifa's design meant creating an athletic look, complete with abs, while retaining her iconic white tank top and black miniskirt outfit. Mm-hmm. But as the ethics department pointed out, Tifa shouldn't look, in quotes, unnatural during scenes, so her chest was restricted. This resulted in black underwear and a fitted tank top for the remake. So a whole heap of internet controversy surrounding this one as far as Tifa getting a breast reduction, then people actually saying, no, I'm a woman, I have breasts. I know that that's at least a full D cup based off how that bra is supporting these breasts and so on and so forth. And the internet is upset that Tifa has been, her breasts have been nerfed and all this kind of thing. So
nerf the breast.
Yeah.
This is like.
How do you feel about this?
How do I feel? Like 2 sacks of sand. 2 bags of sand, is it? 2 warm bags of sand. It's from 40-Year-Old Virgin.
Yes.
It's funny. It's been funny. I saw, like, I've seen the character model of, like, the original, and yeah, they are really big. It's really weird that, like, this came from, like, them to say, like, that's unnatural. Really? No kidding. This is the one that's unnatural? But anyway, I don't know. Like, there's a lot of women that that are skinny, naturally skinny, and just for some reason have, like, really big boobs that are quite athletic. So I think that's a bit of a slap to the face for them. A bit of a cop-out, yeah. Yeah, it's to say, like, oh, well, you can't have big boobs, skinny figure, and be athletic. That's just not right. So they've kind of been offended. Obviously, young teenage boys, men and, of all the like have been offended because how dare they? My favorite comment was saying that they had reduced her to a B cup, and I've looked at the now remastered version, and I'm worried about that guy if he thinks that was a B cup. Yeah. Because he has not seen boobs in his life or had a conversation with a woman about bras at all.
Yeah, it's like, but my inflatable doll's breasts say they're only B cups and I can't even fit them in my hand.
So there's just been a few interesting things that kind of sparked out of it. I love that this is a focus. I love that this is what a lot of people are taking away from it. The thing is that just like focusing on this one to me is just a bit weird when there is just so many other games out there where there are these like crazy, like, I mean, the games that I play, and there's a level where I mean, come on. I understand like that sometimes these games are made and no one's taking physics into consideration at all. I've seen games where they do like twisty turnies in opposite directions, and I'm just like, I don't think people understand how they work. The only thing is that, hey, if they're just trying to just make the model just a little bit more, and I'm going to say this in quotes, realistic, just by like making sure it's like more like how a boob looks. Yeah. As opposed to full on just like, oh, we're reducing it dramatically. It's like, no, like body curvature and all that sort of stuff. Then maybe that's okay. But like I said, if they're just focusing on this one, it's just weird to me considering there are many a game boob out there that is more concerning.
Yeah, like the words that they used in this interview with Famitsu, where they're talking about like unnatural and like restricting her chest, like that is kind of weird to me because there isn't an archetype where every woman's body size and breast size are the same. Like as you said, like people vary, big, small, and everywhere else in between. So I don't think there is an unnatural look, one might say. What's to say that Tifa didn't get implants? If she did have big giant breasts, like power to her, she can do what she chooses. Now she's a fully realized and fully formed character in this Final Fantasy world. Yeah, if she wants to get a breast reduction even or get implants, power to her. I don't know where this is going to go. Like, what's going to happen next? Are they going to start like looking at the male characters and is their bulge too big in sort of the pants, or are their arms too big because there's no way their arms could get that muscly? Like where does the line get drawn?
Stop making the male characters just as beautiful as the females. There we go. Focus on that. I don't want to sit there.
Tifa though, she's been like, her and Miranda Lawson from Mass Effect are the two, like probably my two game crushes. So Tifa, I don't know what it is about Tifa. There's just something about her, and I think just character and how she was portrayed in the OG Final Fantasy on the PlayStation touched me back then, and seeing her then. This is going well.
Sorry. I have to ask, Tifa, she like I said, never played the game, not familiar with the character. Was she created because of Tomb Raider?
I don't know. Like she's got a similar look, at least from sort of her costume and her clothing, that could sort of, I guess, lend itself to a Lara Croft inspiration there. But she's a very sort of strong character, very positive character. And that then was reflected in the Final Fantasy VII Advent Children animation film that they made as well. She was really, really well put together in that from a looks perspective, from a personality perspective, from just a positive role model as well. Like she's always been a really positive influence in this Final Fantasy world. So as the internet does, they get held up on them nerfing her chest size and not talking about how much of a positive character she is as a whole. But yeah, it's the bobs that are the talking point, I guess, isn't it?
Yeah, always it seems like they're focusing on the wrong supporting role.
Yeah. Bra joke.
Yeah. Oh, well. Everyone's got to find something. If they're, I said, just carry on. People will stop caring about it until the next game.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
The next set of tetas.
But yeah, that's that. Final Fantasy VII. Something that ties loosely into chess, but in this case, it's going to be more so as a crate or a box. Nice. EA calls its loot boxes surprise mechanics, says they're used ethically. And this comes via way of Anna Diaz at Polygon. A senior executive of Electronic Arts told the United Kingdom's Parliament that the company prefers to call loot boxes, in quotes, surprise mechanics, and argued that their use in EA games is also, in quotes, quite ethical, quite fun, and enjoyable to people, end quote. Appearing before a House of Commons committee on Wednesday, Kerry Hopkins, Vice President of Legal and Government Affairs at EA, responded to a member of Parliament who had asked if the publisher had any ethical qualms about loot boxes. Their use in 2017 Star Wars Battlefront 2 kicked off a huge controversy that drew scrutiny from several governments, including those in the United States and Europe. Hopkins compared loot boxes to other products, Kinder Eggs, a chocolate treat with a toy in its center, and Hatchimals, a blind box style toy hidden inside an egg. She says, people like surprises, but the comparison to Kinder Eggs was quite ironic, given that the chocolate eggs were banned in the US until recently over concerns the prizes were a choking hazard. We do think the way we've implemented these kinds of mechanics is quite ethical and quite fun, she said. They aren't gambling, and we disagree that there's evidence that shows that they lead to gambling. Loot boxes, microtransactions, and pay-to-win mechanisms have come under mainstream scrutiny over the past year. A bill to regulate them died in Hawaii's legislature? Yeah. But a Republican senator recently introduced a bill with bipartisan support, which is what we covered off on an episode, maybe 2 or 3 episodes back. EA statements may raise eyebrows, but they're unsurprising given the company's history on this issue. EA pushed back hard on the Belgian Gaming Commission when it ruled that loot boxes constituted unregulated gambling, but still decided to stop selling FIFA points, a microtransaction in its FIFA soccer series in that country. So EA, at it again, now calling loot boxes surprise mechanics. My God, it just sounds so tone deaf. It is so tone deaf and so blind and naive.
Boy, get your eye off my surprise mechanics.
Yeah, and I love that they compared it to Kinder. Like, I love the Kinder Fingers. I don't really like Kinder Surprises, but Kinder
Buenos?
Fingers.
Kinder Buenos?
Nah, you know the ones that's sort of like a long stick?
Yeah.
And it's sort of almost like ridged pieces.
Aren't they called Bueno?
It's similar to a Bueno, but it doesn't have the creamy bit inside. It's more just a chocolate with a white chocolate bit. I'll send you a photo afterwards. All right, Buenos are good too, though.
I love Buenos. Oh.
But yeah, EA. My God.
This is like this is actually kind of funny to like watch like a big, like, it's EA. So, you know, they've got the money. They've got, you know, they're big, they're large, and then they're like gaming network. So I kind of feel like that they got all of gaming in trouble. So right now they're representing all the other big companies that want loot boxes to be a thing. Mm-hmm. And this is just like the most lousiest like attempt at just like, we've got to find some way to turn this positive. And the term people like surprises.
Yeah, Bill Shock. That's what they like.
Fucking people love sex, but they don't want gonorrhea. Like,
hey!
Just like, this is like the stupidest terminology ever. Like,
talk about a microtransaction, am I right?
Yeah. And ow, no Kinder Surprise in that. Sorry.
Oh, water just splashed in my eye.
Sorry. This is so stupid. I think it's specifically in the EU, they're actually really, really pushing back and getting people in trouble for this sort of stuff. So I think this is their last push before they actually start getting penalties. Like, the gaming companies will start getting penalties and, you know, serious trouble. So I guess this is like the last push.
Yeah, it's very interesting. Like, I'm curious to see if this Kerry Hopkins expanded on this argument a little bit more and actually pleaded her case in a way that sort of had any form of substance to it, like where she's just saying that they don't think there's any ethical qualms attached to this, that yeah, there's surprise mechanics and people like surprises. Like, it's such weird tone deaf sort of just layman PR bullshit. Like,
it's grasping for straws, really.
Yeah.
But like, how do you call them loot boxes and all these other names? And then when they start like getting in trouble and be like, "Oh, we prefer to call them surprise mechanics." It's like,
yeah,
really? Where? Show me where you've called them that.
Exactly. Like all they're doing is just to ensure that these games, hopefully don't get banned moving forward or get slapped with maybe a higher classification, so people under the age of 15 can't buy them. But then, the parents just buy them anyway. So it's just sort of mitigating risk. I think EA, that's all they're trying to do, where this does, I'm assuming it's eventually going to get classed as some form of gambling, and there will be regulations and things sort of passed through the various governments across the globe. But EA are just trying to get ahead of it by lessening it, as they have been since since Battlefront 2, 18 or so months ago. But yeah, my goodness, it's sort of that sort of, you just shake your head. It's like, really, EA, you're pulling this?
That's the best you guys have got. All right, good luck. I'm just happy that the governments are actually getting involved and I guess taking gaming a little bit more seriously and actually paying attention to what's actually happening in the sphere, as opposed to being like, gaming's just gaming. It's they plug in a controller and they play a video game. That's all that they care about. So now they're getting involved. Now they're learning.
Yeah, I think that is good. Like, where I think you hit that nail right on the head there. Like, where gaming is now getting seen as a genre or a hobby or an industry that is not just based on children. Like, it's like the adults are taking notice and they can see that it bleeds through, and there is clear lines that need to be drawn here, where there is potential mechanics or controversial topics or themes in this medium that can potentially upset or do bad things to the youth. So yeah.
I mean, they were always happy to jump on
mechanics.
board. Yeah. When it came to violence, swearing, vulgarities, sexual behavior in gaming. So, here's gambling now. Here's the other sin.
Exactly.
Take care of that now.
Exactly. What next? Where's censorship going next?
Gluttony's already taken care of. They've already said that gaming addiction is a disease now.
Yeah.
So there's gluttony.
Yeah, Mountain Dew and Doritos. The gateway drugs.
Sloth.
I think it's both. It could be both.
Yeah,
You can be
just
sort
molded together.
of slothing in a gaming chair, eating shit, playing a game, gambling on loot boxes, all under the age of 15. Like,
sins.
my God, that's like sort of getting on the ice. Just that's on the crack. That's crack for kids. It's bad. It's terrible.
Hashtag crack for kids.
But yeah, surprise mechanics. That is certainly one of the worst things I've heard in a long time. Like, it's got some real Sesame Street vibe to it. Like,
it does.
Like this, Kerry Hopkins is talking to bloody Big Bird on there, and he's like, "Hey, Kerry, what do you think about loot boxes? Is it gambling?" They're like, "Well, you see, Big Bird, we actually classify this as surprise mechanics. And who doesn't like to be surprised?"
Can you say surprise mechanics?
And then bloody Oscar the Grouch pops out, and he's like, "Surprise, motherfuckers, I'm a grumpy old green thing." And mate, it writes itself.
I loved it when they started saying motherfuckers on Sesame Street. That was a good time.
It's an edgier world we live in these days.
It is true. Kids are saying fucked up shit all the time.
Oh, yeah. And speaking of edgy, Gears 5 won't have a season pass or gear packs, and all DLC maps will be free. This is via way of Austin Wood at Games Radar. With Gears 5 less than 3 months away, the Coalition, formerly Black Tusk Studios, recently outlined how the game's multiplayer will handle new content. As the studio explained in a blog post, the gist is that Gears 5 will not have a season pass or Gears packs. All of its DLC maps will be free, and in-game purchases are direct. No RNG, so you'll always know what you will get. The Coalition detailed a few new systems supporting Gears 5 play-to-earn approach. The Tour of Duty system, for example, will reward players with customization content like skins for completing daily and seasonal challenges. This sounds like an evolution of the seasonal model popularized by recent shooters like Fortnite and Apex Legends, mixed with the content styles of the Gears games of old. So Gears 5 bucking the trend for paid DLC and season passes and all this stuff.
Surprise
and
mechanics.
just going, you know what? Yeah, no surprise mechanics here. This is just good old-fashioned honest mechanics, as we call it out on the streets. So shout out to the coalition for this.
Oh no, blunt mechanics sounds bad. Yeah, like, and it's also good to see that they're already kind of outlining what to expect. I'm seeing that with a lot of games now, especially with like multiplayer and online, where they're saying like, here is exactly what is going to be on offer. So having a roadmap is always good. So, I mean, someone's got to lead the way, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and like obviously Microsoft own these guys, so they're not sort of desperate for money, and there will be items you can buy within the game, which will be no doubt specific skins, whether it be weapon-based skins or character skins, which will have a price attached. But the good thing is, there's no RNG, so there's going to be no guesswork and rolling of the dice to hope you get what you're paying for. You are actually going to walk out of there with what your intended purchase would be, so that's good to know. What's your sort of hype level on Gears 5? Like, obviously, the big thing is it's not Gears of War anymore. It's just Gears. So it's Gears 5. They've dropped the of War section of this. Like, the trailer and everything at E3 was very lackluster to me. Very meh. There was no real new gameplay. They talked about these new modes. They had this weird transitional cut where they went under the stage and saw Xavier Woods and AJ Styles and I think Tyler Breeze from the WWE all playing this new game mode, but they didn't show them playing it at all. They didn't show any of the gameplay. They just cut away again. I'm like, what
was that? Let's go under the stage. Yeah, we didn't really get much out of it. I've seen a few little clips that have come out just with, in-game, like, story building, like video sequences, that sort of stuff. In regards to my hype for Gears 5, I don't know. I'm kind of on the shelf with it. Is it going to be a part of the Microsoft thing, I assume, which I've paid for now? So chances are I may get it for free. So
you will get it for free. And you can play it on PC and or Xbox. So if you want to play on the console or you play it on the PC, you can play with myself and other people across those platforms as well. So Xbox Play Anywhere. Yeah.
Easy go. So there we go. So my hype level is, well, there you go. I'm going to get for free. I will play it because a free game's a free game. Gears is always fun to play mechanically and gore fest wise. I hope we're not going against robots. I want gore.
Oh, no, there's gore. There's living, breathing, sort of blood pumping enemies in here.
Yeah, so just give me that. I'll be happy. Whether I'm like hype, there's a good chance that I may miss the release of this, or it might be one of those things where it'd be like, oh, it's coming out this week. Okay, cool. But it's I mean, it is what it is, really. Yeah,
but it's good to see them sort of get ahead of all this and outline their plans and talking about all these DLC maps being free. I think that's really good because so many of these other shooter-based titles, they cram out these season passes or map packs and charge you $20-$30, sometimes more, for these things just to get some maps. And the annoying thing I've found, just sort of looking at sort of Call of Duty experiences, when you do buy those map packs, the player base is a lot less, so you don't get sort of into as many games with those maps because the majority of the common players don't buy these map packs or season passes. So it's good that Gears, you're going to get the same consistency and the same sort of density of player base across all these maps. There's no alienation or sort of barriering things off, which I'm keen for.
I definitely think, Gears of all places would definitely, you'd actually run into that issue where if it was like map, you had to buy a map to play it and then hopefully have other players that bought the map as well. So I think PUBG may have done that as well. One of the maps I think may have been you had to buy it. Yeah,
that's true. I think that was when when Miramar came out, I think, at first.
Yeah, I think that's about right. So I don't know if they had that issue because if you're a game on that level, when it was on that level, I don't think you worry about it so much. But with a game like Gears, I don't think the hype level is going to be to that degree. So yeah, free content in regards to maps and that sort of stuff is good. Smart.
Very smart. One thing I also liked, Gears related, was that they confirmed Raul Coley is going to be lending his voice talents to, I don't know if I'm going to pronounce it the right way, Faz Chutani, I think is the character that he is going to be playing in the game. I love Raul. He does some great work, on point, great delivery. Loved him in iZombie and a few of the other sort of offshoots.
I only know him from Funhouse.
Yeah.
So I haven't seen him in iZombie, but I've witnessed him on Funhouse, and he's great on that, and he's just funny to follow on social media.
Yeah, 100%. He's very self-aware, which I love. And he says it how it is. So, congrats on that, because there's been so many campaigns about getting him into games for the last few years, whether it be lending his likeness to something or his vocal talents, and now we see him in Gears. So hopefully it's the first of many for Mr. Coley. And now with iZombie finishing up, I don't know what he's doing next. So he's at least got Gears 5 to keep him busy for the next little while.
Mm-hmm.
But that has been episode 156 of the Hungry Gamers podcast. Is there anything you wanted to say or bring to the table before we close this sucker down for another week?
No, just by my friend Pedro and, Cadence of Hyrule if you feel so inclined.
And Crash Team Racing, because it's fantastic. But thank you, 8-Bit Nation, for tuning in. Really means the world to us. Be sure to rate, review, subscribe. Us as well as all the other podcasts you're listening to, because as I said in the housekeeping, it helps keep those emotional lights on in our hearts, keeps us tracking, keeps us relevant, and it means so much. But until next week, we've got the world first episode 157 of the Hungry Gamers podcast. Much love.
Stay hungry.
You've been listening to The Hungry Gamers, one of many gaming and geek culture related podcasts from the 8-Bit Collective over on 8bit.net. Check out more episodes on your podcast service of choice. And while you're there, please be sure to rate and subscribe. Until next time, boys and girls, stay hungry.